Imagine a gigantic tapestry, woven with threads from the destiny of the cosmos and humanity. In this intricate pattern, each thread represents an era of existence, and each stitch marks the birth or disappearance of a universe. We are now diving into the sixth installment of the sixth part of this epic, and it is here that the threads of creation weave the seventh period of human existence, a period that carries a sacred resonance on both the macrocosmic and microcosmic scales. In the esoteric tradition described in this segment, the seventh period is marked simultaneously by the physical creation of humanity and its final resting state, a pralaya, which is a period of dissolution comparable in duration to the day of the Brahma cycle, the creating entity within Hindu vision. This period is followed by a night of desolation and stillness, where everything returns to the bosom of divinity, the Supreme. Here, we are introduced to a connection between different spiritual traditions, from India to Mesopotamia, illustrating that ancient wisdom, a religion of wisdom, is shared by these diverse cultures and disseminated throughout time and territories. The Kabbalah, for example, is mentioned as derived from this ancient wisdom, suggesting a common origin for these esoteric teachings spread across various regions of the world. Deeply intertwined, these cosmic narratives tell the story of the seven angels of the presence, corresponding to the principles of man, the spiritual, psychic, and physical spheres of the septenary chain, and the root races, all dependent on the seven forms of the human skull, expressing the complexity of consciousness evolution. Interestingly, the idea of the second is excluded, not due to lack of importance, but because it represents the pre-formation chaos, the abyss where the idealized universe rests in the supreme mind before manifestation. It is a state that exists outside of normal counting and measurement, a state of non-form. Additionally, the segment speaks of a prophecy contained within the Puranic texts, describing alarming characteristics of the Kali Yuga era, our current age, recognized both in the East and the West. It is an era of spiritual decline, materialism, and suffering, where truth and virtue are rare and the forces of darkness seem to prevail. However, even in the darkest times, there is a promise of renewal. The Purana anticipates a return to the Golden Age, to an era of purity, but this will occur after a great transformation, a new dawn after the long night of Brahma. In the tapestry of time, this is the perpetual cycle: creation, existence, dissolution, and rest, before beginning again. And the prophecy does not only describe this cyclical era, but also speaks of mythical figures like Devapi and Moru, who supposedly survive through time and whose returns are linked to the inauguration of a new pure age. Thus, in this segment, we are led to contemplate the infinite cycle of time, recognizing echoes of ancient teachings in the complex rhythmic dance of the universe, and hoping that even in our turbulent era, we may be on the brink of a new and glorious dawn. Now imagine traveling through time, straight to the final days of an era of darkness and decline, where the shadows of ignorance have covered the human spirit like a thick fog. We are in the Kali Yuga, the last of the four great cycles that comprise the age of humanity, according to ancient Indian conceptions. In this age, we are told by sacred texts, truth and virtue have been forgotten, and corruption is the master of the day. Social hierarchies, once defined by noble qualities, righteousness, and knowledge, are now shattered. Nobility is nothing more than a title sold to the wealthiest. The power of acquisition is now the only currency for respect and worship. Love, that ethereal and sublime bond between souls, has been reduced to nothing more than a game of seduction and fleeting desire. In the realm of law, truth has no place anymore. Success in a court depends on the skill of weaving lies. Women, once revered as the source of life and wisdom, are now seen merely as objects for sensual gratification. External marks of social status, fine clothes, and appearances are the only differentiators among people. In this scenario of moral desolation, what remains is a society where the strongest dominate, and justice is a forgotten concept. Taxes suffocate the citizens who, oppressed, hide in the valleys seeking some relief from this unbearable burden. But fear not, my imaginary listeners, for the great wheel of time keeps turning, and just as one day brought the darkness of the Kali Yuga, it also promises the dawn of a new era. When the final days of this time of trials draw near, a divine being, blessed with superhuman powers, shall descend upon the earth. the avatar Kalki, bringing with them extraordinary abilities, will arise to restore justice and purify the world from the evil that has spread. And here, my dear imaginary listeners, is where hope shines on the horizon. For the arrival of this being will mark the awakening of human minds. They shall be crystal clear and pure, and humanity, transformed and renewed, will take the first steps out of the shadows towards a new beginning. This narrative is not just a prophecy or an echo of an ancient belief, but also a profound metaphor for the eternal cycle of decay and renewal that we can observe in our own history. A reminder that even in the depths of darkness, the potential for transformation and light still persists. So, let us continue our journey through the hidden and fascinating chapters of the Secret Doctrine, where each revealed segment unveils a little more of the mystical tapestry that composes the saga of human existence. And what if I told you that a simple flower can be the key to unraveling the deepest mysteries of the universe? That's right. In the segment we have just explored from the Secret Doctrine, we delve into the symbolism of the lotus, this magnificent flower that, more than beauty, carries in its petals and roots the ancient wisdom of various cultures. The lotus, my listeners, is not just a plant admired for its elegance. It is a symbolic treasure, a spiritual icon that represents the universe in both its abstract and concrete form. This flower is sacred not only in India but also in Egypt, and it has even been absorbed into Christianity. Can you imagine a symbol that is so universal that it transcends different religions? You see, every culture saw in the lotus an image of creation, a representation of life emanating from the unexplored, a sign of the divine idea taking shape in the material world. It is remarkable to understand that this flower is born from the mud, passes through the water, and blossoms radiant to the touch of the first rays of sunlight, thus reflecting the journey of consciousness from the dark unknown to illuminated realization. The connection of the lotus with divinity is so intimate that in India, for example, Brahma, the creator, is depicted resting upon a lotus sprouting from the navel of Vishnu, one of the main gods of the cycle of preservation and creation. And it is also said that Lakshmi, the goddess of beauty and prosperity, was also born from the waters, from a lotus. This shows us how deep the relationship of this flower is with the conception of life and rebirth in myths and traditions. In the mystical context, the lotus suggests the expansion of the universe from a central point, the seed of life, from where everything emanates. And this image is repeated in many creation stories around the world, with the lotus as the protagonist, symbolizing that the understanding and imitation of archetypal forms are essential for creation. Even when we look beyond mountains and myths, at the heart of esoteric practices and religions, the figure of the lotus remains a reminder of the union of the spiritual and the material, a hallmark of our search for understanding of the intangible. So as we close this observed chapter, let us keep in mind that the lotus is a powerful reminder that even in stagnant and murky waters, beautiful perfection can blossom, and that within every symbol lies a trail of crumbs leading to universal understanding. Let us continue our journey through the secrets of the symbols that make up this vast mosaic of knowledge in the Secret Doctrine. As we dive into the pages of the Secret Doctrine, Part 1, Cosmogenesis, we now delve into segment 109 of Part 6, where the complexity of theosophy unfolds before us. Here, we contemplate the idea that the divine and the mortal are not two separate universes, but an intertwined tapestry of existence. The sacred emerges from the depths of the lotus, as exemplified in ancient Egyptian literature, to remind us that every particle of the cosmos is an extension of divinity, a manifestation of Brahma, unfolding and emanating from itself to create the endless web of life and the universe. And it is here that the East and the West diverge in their interpretations of creation. While Eastern narratives celebrate creation as a pure act free from impurities, it is in Semitic mythology that we find a more humanized and materialistic approach to the cosmos, interpreting creation through anthropomorphic representations and imparting a profane nature to it by participating in reproduction and sexual functions. As we progress, the segment also elevates the status of reproductive organs to the level of sacred symbols, not as an expression of carnal fixation, but as a reverence for the wonder and mystery of the creative act. It is an exaltation of the human capacity to collaborate with the divine in bringing forth new life, a testament to the intervention of a creative intelligence. Theosophy vehemently argues against the vulgarization of this initial purity, calling for a return to a perspective that offers reverence, not degradation. It makes room for a distinction. In Semitic thought, reproduction is seen through a lens of sin and temptation, while ancient Vedic vision saw procreation with freedom and without guilt. The Semitic influence that restricted women's freedom and imposed separation is based more on later traditions than on ancient religious symbolism. Therefore, this segment elucidates the higher dimensions of religious symbolism, seeking to distance itself from personification and idolatry towards a more subtle and impersonal understanding of the sacred. By calling for a reappreciation of the role of reproductive organs, not as mere vehicles of earthly desire, but as icons of a broader cosmic meaning, it invites us to recognize the sanctity of creation hidden in the depths of Pantheia. Hey there, bookworms. Get ready to dive into the mystical world of symbols, ancient traditions, and profound meanings. In today's video, we're exploring segments 5, 6, and 9 of the Secret Doctrine, Part 1, Cosmogenesis. I'm going to take you on a mesmerizing journey through the pages of this book, unraveling the secrets hidden within ancient cultures and their connections to the cosmos. So grab your popcorn, sit back, and let's get started. Segment 5 takes us on a deep dive into the esoteric meaning of the letter M in various ancient cultures. Prepare to be amazed as we uncover the enigmatic symbolism behind this letter, representing water, the great abyss, and serving as a glyph for waves. We'll explore its significance in different languages from Sanskrit to Egyptian and Judaic traditions. Trust me, folks, this letter is no ordinary M. Moving on to segment 6, we encounter the powerful connection between the moon and our beloved planet Earth. Forget what you thought you knew about the moon, because we're about to discover its vital role in sustaining life on Earth. From ancient civilizations to Shakespeare and Milton, the moon has captivated the human imagination. But its mysterious influence doesn't stop there. We'll reveal its sacred connection to water, life cycles, and even the Christian concept of resurrection. Brace yourselves for some mind-blowing revelations, my friends. Finally, in segment 9, we unravel the fascinating link between ancient measurements, lunar cycles, and solar connections. We'll explore the Jewish metrology system and its calculations, revealing intricate connections to the movements of the moon and the solar year. But what does this all mean, you ask? Well, my friends, it's all about the interplay between ancient practices, symbolism, and our attempt to grasp the vastness of the universe. The Secret Doctrine takes us on a journey that bridges the sacred and the celestial, the ancient and the modern. It connects the dots between religions, cultures, and the mysteries of our existence. So get ready to have your minds blown as we peel back the layers of history and uncover the hidden wisdom that lies within these sacred texts. Are you excited? 'Cause I know I am. Buckle up, my fellow adventurers, as we embark on this thrilling exploration of the Secret Doctrine, Part 1, Cosmogenesis. Stay tuned for the full video where we'll dive even deeper into these mind-bending concepts. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, because you don't want to miss out on any of our future book adventures. Until next time, keep exploring, keep reading, and keep expanding your horizons. See you in the next video, book lovers. What's up, folks? Have you ever wondered how ancient symbolisms and rituals continue to shape our world today? Well, strap in, because today we're diving headfirst into the Secret Doctrine, Part 1, Cosmogenesis, and exploring the mind-boggling interplay between ancient beliefs and modern spirituality. In this segment, we uncover the intricate connections between lunar worship, Egyptian deities, and the image of the Virgin Mary in Catholicism. It's mind-blowing how these ancient concepts of motherhood, childhood, and masculinity have influenced both ancient polytheism and modern monotheism. Meanwhile, the book Nabatean Agriculture throws shade at academics and religious institutions who reject ancient celestial worship in favor of demonizing it. Talk about missing out on a whole lot of cosmic knowledge. On the theological side of things, we delve into how the ancient Hebrews viewed Bina, one of the Sephirot, as the primordial sea or chaos, often associated with the Babylonian figure Tiamat. It's wild how such powerful symbolism evolved and was later interpreted as the serpent or devil by Christianity. So, in a nutshell, this section takes us on a mind-bending journey through astrology, theology, and mythology. We witness how humanity has tried to grasp the mysteries of the universe, tracing the evolution of religious figures and concepts from ancient traditions to modern belief systems. It's a testament to the complexity and beauty of our search for divine understanding. And now, my friends, brace yourselves as we plunge into the mysterious and captivating realm of lunar worship in this fascinating excerpt from the Secret Doctrine. Grab your moon charts because we're about to uncover the intricate connections between Artemis, the goddess of conception and childbirth, and the triple deity Hecate. Artemis, also known as Calisthe, holds a special place in ancient Orphic beliefs, and even predates the concepts of the rabbis and Kabbalists. She's depicted as a symbol of the moon with three distinct faces, representing its ever-changing phases and the three realms of nature. It's like she's the OG queen of lunar vibes. The worship of the moon is revealed to be a complex and multifaceted core, with a plethora of gods and goddesses associated with it, from Nephthys to Proserpina, from Melita to Cybele, and from Isis to Astarte. The attributes of these deities mirror the intricate phases and characteristics of the moon, for better or for worse. But hold up, my friends. Let's not forget about Ammianus Marcellinus, an ancient historian who introduces us to the practice of divination through elemental spirits. This practice even resonates within certain church traditions, although it's often veiled by scripture and theological interpretation. Spooky stuff, right? Now things get even more intriguing as we learn that lunar worship dates back to the third race of our cosmic cycle, the hermaphrodites. Yep, you heard that right. After the fall, they divided into distinct genders. As the ages and races progressed, this lunar worship evolved into the worship of both the sun and the moon. But unfortunately, it also led to conflicts and the division of nations into opposing camps. Bummer, right? In this chapter of the Secret Doctrine, we're taken on a journey through the intricate interpretation of divine meanings. Sons and husbands become intertwined as masculine and feminine energies merge in a single pantheon. The moon's cycles, its phases, and its psychic and esoteric impact are all dissected, revealing the moon as not just a celestial body, but as an entity with formidable psychic and occult powers. Talk about a power-packed satellite, huh? Last but not least, the duality of lunar worship is highlighted, showcasing its significance both in the exoteric and occult realms. The moon possesses immense power, capable of generating, preserving, or destroying life. It becomes evident that the ancients possessed profound knowledge of lunar mysteries far beyond what modern astronomy has uncovered. So, my fellow truth-seekers, in this part of the Secret Doctrine, we're unraveling the intricate layers of lunar worship and its enigmatic role throughout history, as well as its influence on contemporary spiritual practices. It's a wild cosmic ride, folks, and we're just scratching the surface. We're now diving into Chapter 117 of Part 6 of the Secret Doctrine, Part 1, Cosmogenesis. Get ready to unearth the fusion of pagan and Christian practices and learn even more about this extraordinary cosmos of ideas. Who would have thought that the ancient stories of Egypt held such profound secrets that continue to influence our world today? In this dive, we're exploring the timeless symbolism and impact of ancient figures and doctrines on modern culture and spirituality. In this particular segment, the discussion revolves around the symbolism of deities, myths, and ancient symbols, with a keen focus on the role and evolution of serpents. In Egyptian cosmogony, the serpent isn't just a symbol of malevolence. It represents wisdom, immortality, and renewal. It's a guide that reveals forbidden knowledge, the light illuminating the darkness. And get this, it's deliberately associated with the moon and the feminine, unveiling devotion and mystery. In Egypt, this serpent took the form of Thoth Hermes, the messenger of secret wisdom, delivering hidden knowledge and light to those who sought understanding beyond the veil of everyday reality. These symbols and their meanings intertwine with other emblems, like the Tree of Life, sharing rich symbolism across ancient myths and legends. What's fascinating here is that the symbolism of serpents and the worship associated with it transcends cultures and ages. The knowledge passed down by these sacred beings, these nagas or serpents, wasn't meant to be taken literally, but metaphorically, pointing to the transfer of wisdom between masters and disciples. We see this transfer echoed in Norse mythology with Sigurd, who slays the dragon Fafnir, consumes its heart, and attains godlike wisdom. As we delve into the dual nature of serpent symbolism, both as a force of good and evil, ancient narratives often depict a balance and flow between light and darkness, knowledge and ignorance, life and death. The eternal struggle between serpents and dragons, prevalent in different cultures, reflects these fundamental oppositions. The serpent in this context is more than just a symbol. It's an archetype infused with layers of meaning that survive and adapt across time. So my friends, buckle up, because we're embarking on a mind-boggling journey through the complex web of symbolism connecting ancient and modern beliefs, especially within the context of Roman Catholicism. We'll explore how ancient goddesses like Hathor, the Egyptian goddess also known as the infernal Isis and the Queen of Heaven, are linked to a multitude of metaphors and ideals that the Catholic Church also adopted for the Virgin Mary. The text delves into how sacred female figures embody a dual aspect, divine and infernal, and are revered as the progenitors of the universe. These entities, with their association with the sun and moon, act as fertilizers and givers of life. Within Christianity, the Virgin Mary is seen as the one who conceives and gives birth to the firstborn, in a divine manner. However, the author criticizes the Catholic Church's interpretation, which brings this elevated figure to an earthly level, thereby undermining her when compared to her mythological counterparts. It's argued that this practice borrows from pagan symbols and incorporates them into Christian traditions, blurring the lines between earlier practices and beliefs and those of Roman Catholicism. The text also highlights the difficulties scholars face in understanding the true hidden meanings in ancient scriptures and mythologies, often due to their own ignorance or desire to interpret everything within their own religious beliefs and paradigms. It's a journey through the intricate interplay of ancient traditions assimilated into Christianity, illustrating the complexity of how religious and spiritual practices evolve over time. And whoa, hold your horses there because, my friends, we've only scratched the surface. This is just a taste of the astounding truths lying within the Secret Doctrine, Part 1, Cosmogenesis. So stay tuned as we unravel more fascinating revelations in the upcoming segments of this awe-inspiring work. So that's a wrap for this segment of our exploration. Stay curious, my friends, and keep seeking knowledge in the hidden corners of our universe. Until next time, stay true to yourself and keep those minds wide open. Peace out. Imagine a world where ancient symbols hold deep and profound meanings, but over time, they have been misunderstood and misrepresented. These symbols, stripped of their original context, have been interpreted in a more earthly and materialistic manner. But today, I invite you to dive into the ancient wisdom that these symbols carry and explore their true significance. In this journey, we encounter the enigmatic symbol of the serpentine dragon. But this dragon isn't just a mythical creature. It embodies the rich and complex representation of life and the universe itself. Join me as we explore the hidden mysteries behind the worship of the serpent, a symbol that holds far more meaning than what modern science or astronomical studies can decipher. In the ancient world, the serpent was a multifaceted symbol. On the earthly plane, it represented renewal and rebirth, while on the higher realms, it embodied the immaterial essence and aligned with cycles of existence beyond human comprehension. This was the realm of the highest forms of knowledge. The chapter we embark upon unravels the power of the tree of life and being, whose roots reach the celestial realms and whose branches extend through various planes until they touch our material world. Symbolizing the supreme cause, the Logos, from which everything is derived, this tree represents immortality for those who gain its deepest understanding. But the symbolism doesn't stop there. Each ancient dragon and serpent had 7 heads, representing the 7 races of humanity, each with their own paths and mysteries. From Ananta, the serpent of eternity in Hindu tradition, to dragons from various cultures, these figures embody the 7 principles that flow through nature and mankind, with the central head representing the highest principle. This ancient narrative takes us beyond mere biological analogies and astronomical archetypes. It reveals the spiritual principles of evolution and transformation that govern both humans and the cosmos. It challenges us to look beyond the limits of science and history and contemplate the mystery and magic woven into the origins of our being and the universe around us. As we venture further into the book, The Secret Doctrine, we enter a domain where celestial symbology meets esoteric wisdom. Here, 4 celestial spirits reign supreme, each within their own heptanymy, a group of 7 stars. These spirits, symbolizing the cardinal points in Chinese cosmology, weave the passage of time and celestial cycles. But the heptanymy is not just a stellar configuration. It is a microcosm, reflecting the dual nature of both man and the cosmos, the higher and the lower. This division into 7 precedes and underlies the quadruple division, revealing that the symbolism of the number 7 is the ancient root of this archaic classification. At the heart of this cosmic vision is the Egyptian goddess, Sefek, whose name evokes the number 7. She embodies personified wisdom, similar to the Greek Sophia with her 7 pillars. Sefek builds the celestial home, reflecting the stellar origins of time and the celestial narrative. The stellar organization evolves and changes as the ancient groupings of 7 constellations give way to a division into 4 quarters, which then multiplies into 28 parts, mirroring the lunar zodiac cycle of 28 days. Some cultures attribute to these 4 groups of 7 a set of guardian geniuses, who in esoteric traditions manifest as the 4 dragons, the Maharajas mentioned in the secret verses. The 7-headed dragon, or Logos, divided into 4 parts, reflects the multiplicity of daily and monthly characteristics, influencing both good and evil. The wisdom attained here is rare, and those dedicated enough to comprehend it earn the title of dragons and become custodians of the truths and faculties that compose the full wisdom of the root dragon, the spiritual Logos. Immersed in this intricate spiritual tapestry is the symbolism of the crocodile, an emblem of the sun, the moon, the sky, and the earth, honored for its amphibian nature and association with deities like Osiris and Isis. Alchemists view this creature as a metaphor for their hermetic processes, including the prime matter of gold and the sulfuric principle that acts upon mercury. The wisdom of the 7 regents of the world, according to the Neoplatonists of Alexandria, is essential to becoming a true mage or Chaldean. This implies a profound understanding of cosmic cycles that extend far beyond the current records of time. We have covered a multifaceted cosmic landscape, where each heptanymy, each constellation, carries layers of meaning that span ancient Egyptian, Chinese Taoist, and subtle alchemical interpretations. It is a fusion of celestial science and esotericism, where a star is not merely a celestial body, but an entity that speaks to the destiny of humanity and our eternal quest for hidden knowledge. Imagine yourself in the presence of the deepest mysteries of antiquity. We now find ourselves in section 121 of the Secret Doctrine, Part 1, Cosmogenesis, where we discover the hidden power behind the 7 sacred vowels. These vowels are the key to bringing our souls into the light of lights, symbolizing true wisdom. These vowels, along with their 49 powers and corresponding numbers, reside above the very mysteries we seek. The illustrations on these ancient scrolls reveal Anubis, the Egyptian guide to the afterlife, wielding symbols of life and death. The first image depicts Anubis holding a scroll, with 2 female figures and intertwined serpents at the feet of a mummified body. The second image shows Anubis with a cross, a sign of life, while a corpse rests within the folds of a gigantic serpent, the Agathodaimon, the protector of the departed. These visual representations are rich in symbolism, showcasing interconnectedness between the concepts of life, death, and protection in the Egyptian context. They also highlight a duality found in early Christianity, the good and evil Logos, the beneficial and maleficent serpent. Furthermore, archaeological discoveries, such as the sarcophagus near Porta Pia, suggest an intriguing relationship between pagan and Christian cults, even in the interpretation of Magi worship as a birth of the new sun. The similarities between images of Isis nourishing Harpocrates and the Madonna with the child Jesus point to a complex web of religious influences. Lead tablets found with texts capable of unraveling historical controversies indicate an overlap between paganism and dogmatic Christianity. This suggests that early Christians may have practiced recognizable forms of pagan worship until the 6th century, or that pagan elements, such as the sun, the tree, the serpent, the crocodile, were fully absorbed into the Christian church from its origins. This passage opens a window into the fascination of ancient practices and beliefs that transcend time, intertwining in complex and often unexpected ways, leaving traces in the rich tapestry of the development of world religions. Diving into the depths of the chapter titled Demon est Deus inversus, we explore one of the most controversial and iconoclastic notions in the face of dualistic religions, the idea that the devil is an inverted image or reflection of God. This concept directly challenges theologies that depict devils or adversaries as separate and purely evil entities, suggesting instead that good and evil are emanations of the same absolute. The philosophy presented here argues that if there is a homogeneous absolute from which everything emanates, then it must contain within itself the essence of both good and evil. And if the God in question is the root of all, then evil, or de-evil, must also come from that same source. As we confront these paradoxes, we are led to accept that good and evil branch from the same tree of existence, or face the contradiction of believing in two eternal absolutes. This is symbolized in esotericism by the conception of the 7 fires and their 49 aspects, visualized in the crown of the 7 heads of the serpent of eternity. This figure appears in Indian mysticism, among esoteric Buddhists, in Egypt, Chaldea, and beyond. In the post-mortem journey suggested by Hermetic writings, the soul leaves one of its principles in each of the 7 zones until it achieves supreme attainment as the formless serpent of absolute wisdom or deity itself. Throughout history, this concept resurfaces in the figure of Narada, one of the most renowned rishis and yogis, who assumes the role of a human adversary in ancient Hindu scriptures, a role that would later take on more diabolical contours with the development of subsequent religious concepts. This dialectic of good and evil can be traced back to prehistoric times. The simple initial idea of light and darkness evolved into representations of solar and lunar deities, and ultimately into a more distinct polarity of deities across various pantheons, culminating in figures like Osiris Typhon and Ormazd Ahriman. Interestingly, according to the text, the figure of the great deceiver can be identified by investigating ancient cosmogonies and scriptures with open eyes. The analysis doesn't spare criticism of the concept of an isolated creator god, pointing out that the figure of Satan was only necessary to serve as an excuse for the errors and injustices committed by an entity proclaiming itself perfectly good and merciful. As we wrap up this segment, we are left with a profound realization: the need to delve deeper into the layers of symbolism and transcend the boundaries of conventional understanding. The ancient wisdom contained within the Secret Doctrine, Part 1 Cosmogenesis, invites us to question, to expand our minds, and to see the world through a different lens. It beckons us to embrace the mysteries and magic that intertwine in the origins of our existence and the universe itself. In the next segment, we will uncover more hidden truths and dive further into the abyss of knowledge presented in this fascinating book. Stay tuned for the next chapter in our exploration of the Secret Doctrine. Hold on to your thoughts, my friends, because we are about to dive into a debate as old as time itself: the nature of good and evil. Imagine if what you've always feared as darkness was just the other side of the same coin, a force not as diabolical as it's painted. In today's chapter, the 18th of Part 6 of the Secret Doctrine, Cosmogenesis, we come across a thought-provoking re-examination of a controversial figure, Satan. In this passage, the author invites us to consider that, in many traditions beyond Christianity, the devil, or Satan, is not seen as a purely evil entity, but rather as a fundamental aspect of the balance of the universe, inseparable from the Creator itself. The idea is that one cannot simply exclude evil from the concept of God, because if God is everything, he also encompasses evil. According to ancient philosophers and Kabbalists, evil is merely the other side of God's tapestry, a force of natural opposition. Without evil, there would be no perception of good, as they are contrasting elements that together compose the totality of the human experience. In this broader view, the demons of the Puranas, sacred texts of Hinduism, are fascinating figures who respect the scriptures and practice remarkable austerities, yet deviate from ritualism and organized clergy. Their role is similar to that of present-day yogis, who often stray from religious conventions. This conflict serves as a lesson that the label of demon can be relative, based on perspectives and interests. Lastly, in dealing with the duality of God and the devil, the doctrine points to the difficulty of reconciling the two entities in Christian theology, especially when God himself is described as a tempter, as happens at different moments in the Bible. The philosophy behind this is that in our human nature and in the cosmos, this conflict between good and evil is an eternal play of opposing yet complementary forces, essential for the harmony of the whole. In addressing this perception of evil, we also see a critique of the notion of sacrifice and prayer as means to destroy supposedly malevolent spirits, suggesting that these practices could be a form of black magic in disguise. The dialogue between the sage Vasishta and Parasara in the Puranas illustrates that acts motivated by revenge and anger, such as the desire to exterminate the Rakshasas, go against the higher understanding of the cycle of actions and consequences, or karma. We can conclude that in this part of the Secret Doctrine, we are invited to look beyond simplistic notions of evil as an independent and malevolent force and recognize that in many traditions, what we call evil may just be a necessary manifestation of natural order, serving the purpose of maintaining balance and providing contrast in the grand theater of existence. In the passage we have delved into, the discussion delves deeper into the mysteries of cosmogenesis according to esoteric views and ancient traditions. We are venturing into the beliefs of races preceding our own and how they interpreted the invasion of spirit into the realm of matter, suggesting a cycle of evolution and involution that outlines our own spiritual journey. We are revealed that, for both Kabbalists and scholars of the Talmud, the figure of Samael represents a divine power of the earth, closely related to Jehovah of the Judeo-Christian traditions. This understanding is vital to grasp the evolution of the divine and physical man, whose roots are tied to the idea of a cyclical evolution, an eternal dance between spiritual ascension and the fall into materiality. Here is where the ancient ages and giants come into play, exposing the philosophy of spirituality gradually transmuting into something tangible and physical. The Gnostics of Alexandria had already hinted at these concepts when they spoke of the gliding aeons, representing both angelic beings and periods of time. In turn, Eastern traditions speak of the fall of the pleroma and the subsequent search for knowledge, a metaphor for spiritual transition into the material. And then we come across the tales of wars between the Titans and the gods in Greek mythology, a reflection of the struggle between the Suras and Asuras in Indian mythology, where divine figures end up mixed in conflicts where their roles are blurred. These seemingly contradictory mythologies reveal in their esoteric interpretation an internal logic that reflects the ongoing struggle between the spiritual and temporal domains, the finite and the infinite. Finally, we compare the pre-Diluvian Titans in European traditions with the Daityas and Asuras of India. And in a curious parallel, it is shown that these ancient narratives not only describe a physical war, but also the internal spiritual war for enlightenment, a constant battle in which each being strives to emerge from the darkness of ignorance into the light of knowledge. And so, as we dive into these mythological waters, we realize that the fall is not a punishment, but part of a vast evolutionary cycle where each war and each titan represents stages of our consciousness's journey towards the divine. In this labyrinth of temporal and spiritual spirals, we are led to contemplate the vastness of a universe where we tend to get lost in the tangles of interpretations, but where each stumble is actually a step forward on the path of knowledge. At the heart of ancient scriptures and mythologies of India lies a mystery, the account of a celestial battle reverberating through different cultures. The war in heaven, we could say, goes far beyond what the traditions of the Puranas record. There is indeed evidence not only of one, but of three great cosmogonic conflicts that mark the tapestry of creation. Here we are navigating the deep waters of cosmogenesis, where we encounter the concept of universal soul. This soul, far from being an inert cause of creation, emerges as Mahat or Mahabhuti, the Great Soul. It is the vehicle of the spirit, the primal reflection of the formless cause that surpasses even the spirit itself. It is a principle that transcends not only our concrete understanding, but also the notion of attributes and forms. An interesting contrast arises when this understanding is compared to the criticisms of Western Orientalists, who often perceived inconsistencies in Hindu scriptures. The Puranas, strong in their metaphors and parables, were criticized for supposed inconsistencies in their description of the supreme divinity. However, these criticisms often fail to recognize the philosophical depth of the duality of Vishnu, present both as an inert creator and as an active and providential entity. It is not the highest aspect of Vishnu, the Brahman, that acts, but rather the universal soul that permeates space-time and performs actions in the spectacle of the manifested universe. Vishnu, like other gods in various traditions, is portrayed as a strategic deity with an inclination for cunning as a means to overcome adversaries. This parallel is extended to the very God of the Judeo-Christian pantheon, Jehovah, another defender of a chosen people, whose actions also involve deception and challenges. By demystifying Wilson's criticism of the alleged inconsistencies in Hindu scriptures, we see the backbone of esoteric beliefs. The universe is of divine and wise nature, insisting that this wisdom needs to be understood beyond mere sensory perception. Thus, what Wilson considered as flaws are in fact invitations for deeper reflection on the mystical nature of the cosmos. The passage leads us to contemplate these deities as representations of cosmic dynamics, forces at play within the vast cycle of Manvantara, the period between world creations. In this view, the god Vishnu is not just the static maintainer, but a vibrant symbol of universality and constancy, transcending the very form of being itself. And just like in so many other sacred stories, the divine is simultaneously pure and impure, builder and destroyer, the dual essence of the eternal cosmic drama. Understanding this, we face the same mystical crossroads as the ancient rishis, to recognize that the manifested world is merely the foam on the ocean of pure consciousness, where a personal God, with its qualities and limitations, is just a facet of the impersonal universal soul that permeates all things. With this understanding, we continue our journey, always remembering that we are savoring the pages of the 6th part of the book, The Secret Doctrine, currently immersed in the profound passage 20. And although this summary is part of the whole, it is an invitation to reflect on how human perceptions of the divine are shaped by the waters of time and culture, just like any other stories we dare to tell. The saga continues as we enter the realm of mythology and divine betrayal. Just imagine the mighty figures of the Daityas, immense beings that we could consider as the anti-gods, being deceived by Vishnu, the great divinity in preserving the universe according to ancient Hindu scriptures. Here, in the chapter at hand, the story tells us how Vishnu, using the form of Mahamoa, or the great illusionist, managed to lead these powerful beings astray, causing them to deviate from the sacred teachings of the Vedas. It is an episode that showcases the eternal conflict between the Devas, the gods, and the Daityas, a kind of demons or titans, which in this passage portrays the complexity of morality in mythology. Vishnu creates a powerful illusion, leading the Daityas into apostasy and sin, abandoning the noble truths of the Vedas. The irony is not lost on those writing the narrative. The Daityas are portrayed as victims of a great deception, a betrayal that challenges our notion of divinity and the values they would represent. Welcome back, my fellow bookworms. Today we are diving into the depths of ancient wisdom with The Secret Doctrine, Part 1, Cosmogenesis. And let me tell you, this book is not just a regular story. It's a cosmic drama filled with hidden meanings, only fully comprehensible to those with the right keys to interpretation. Buckle up, because we are about to explore a world where gods are not just noble protectors of moral order, but also cunning and deceptive beings, willing to go to great lengths to achieve their goals. Yes, my friends, we are delving into the secret depths of the Secret Doctrine. Even the astral light holds divine and infernal shades, revealing the dual nature of the divine and the demonic. But hold on, there's even more to it. The verses and lessons found in the Vishnu Purana provoke our thoughts on truth, illusion, and the topsy-turvy ethics where deceivers are sometimes revered while the deceived are scorned. Sacred scriptures and their interpretations suggest that the God's victory over demons doesn't always represent the triumph of absolute good over evil. It's a complex dance of power and blind sights, hinting at a deeper morality that transcends the simplistic distinction between heroes and villains. As we journey through the pages of the Secret Doctrine, the tapestry of ancient wisdom unfolds before our eyes, enlightening us about the true nature of myths and fables. These tales, my dear viewers, are not just entertaining stories, but messengers bearing precious knowledge and wisdom. They guard a truth that challenges us to recognize that the stories of humanity, whether of triumphant devas or defeated daityas, carry within them fragments of the infinite mosaic of existence. So, my fellow adventurers, let us set sail on the sixth part of this vast ocean of knowledge that is the Secret Doctrine. Each chapter is not just a standalone tale, but an intricately woven enigma connected to the universal tapestry, inviting us to decipher its deepest secrets. Get ready to embark on a voyage of discovery like no other. And that's a wrap for today's sneak peek into the Secret Doctrine, Part 1, Cosmogenesis. If you enjoyed this tantalizing taste of ancient wisdom, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel for more thrilling book summaries. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the hidden treasures of literature.